Hello, hello, hello. How is everyone? Welcome, welcome, welcome to day seven of our journaling work. And just give me a thumbs up or just let me know that everything sounds good on your end, that we are starting out with a good quality of sound and visuals. If there's anything, just let me know. Hello, hello, hello. I am Alicia Johnson, and welcome to my channel. This is very exciting for me because this gives me the opportunity to share the work that I love. It gives me the opportunity to share the gift of journaling and the gift of forgiveness. And that is like a double whammy for me that is very exciting that I get to do two of the things that I love. So good, good, good. I'm getting the all clear that we sound good and that we are finally cooking with gas. So I am so excited. This is a new process for me. I think I have been officially like committed to YouTube for like almost a week now, I think a week and a little over a week. And I'm very excited because it takes me a minute. It takes me a minute to commit to things. It takes me a minute to commit to things. But once I commit to the thing, I'm like a dog with a bone. Okay. So we are in this to win this. So I am very excited that this is actually another extension of the work that we do. And so I'm very excited to be here tonight. So, for those of you who are new here and who are just joining us, welcome, 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 welcome. We are now at day seven of this forgiveness work. But don't worry, don't you fret, because the archives are there. Days 1 through 6 are available so that you can feel free to listen at your discretion. And also, please subscribe and like the channel so that you can stay abreast of all of the wonderful things that we will be doing. So, the first thing that we're going to get through is the forgiveness work, and then we'll have all sorts of other goodies coming down the pipe. And so, just stay tuned and just, buckle up, and we are going to have a good time here. So, tonight we are entering into day 7 of the Always Journal for Forgiveness work. And so tonight we are forgiving ourselves, forgiving yourself for dreaming too small. Assignment: reread your dedication so that you remain pinpoint accurate in your journaling focus. Today, pay attention to all the areas of your life you have played small. Where have you shrunk or reduced your talents to make others feel comfortable? Why? Identifying the areas where you have reduced yourself to be less than you were created to be will now inform heaven that you are ready to grow well beyond your perceived limitations. Benefit: knowing where you have played small will empower you to now excel in every area heaven has gifted you. You can now create your new life in spirit and truth. Forgiving yourself for dreaming too small. This one is very exciting for me because this one gives you the license to grow. It gives you the opportunity to stretch yourself well beyond your perceived limitations. This part of the process is not for the weak of heart. This part of the process is not for the timid and the shy. This is the part of the process where you begin to own your greatness, where you begin to accept the fact that you were born to do great things. I was born to do great things. We were all born to do great things. We are not here on this planet to go through this entire earthly existence to end up at a safe place, if you will. We are not meant to go through this life calculating every single step so that we don't make mistakes. We are not here so that we can make sure, and this is so this the story. Okay, so when I talk about the Bible, when I talk about Bible stories, please note that this is the Alicia Johnson Always Journal version. You can read it for yourself and you can get your own interpretation. But these are the interpretations that heaven has allowed me to develop so that I could get through this thing called life. So, one of the stories about the talent, okay? So, Jesus is like, hey, these people are given like a certain number of talents. And so one person is given like one talent, one person is given like three talents, one person is given that's like six talents. I'm paraphrasing, but everyone was given a different amount of talents. And this is how the world is set up. You will run across people that do one thing extremely well. You can run across a person that does multiple things extremely well. You can run across people that do a few things extremely well. So the talent department is not equally divided. So it's not like everyone got two, 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 and two, but everybody did get at least one. And the fact that we have all been given a talent, it is our responsibility to identify what that talent is. And it was very interesting when the talents were evaluated and the person with the talent that just kind of hid the talent just so that the person could give back the exact amount that was given to him or her, that was the person that was chastised. Like you didn't do anything with this. You didn't multiply it. You didn't try to curate a better experience for yourself. You did nothing with it. All you did was try to keep it safe, and this is where tonight begins. Stop trying to keep your talents safe. Stop trying to do everything perfectly. Perfection does not exist when you are operating in your gifts, because your gifts and curating your experience in this life is filled with ups and downs, good and bad, failures and successes. It's all encoded in the process. And so there is no way for you to expand your territory or to really advance if you're always trying to play it safe. And one of the ways that a lot of people try to play it safe is by dreaming too small. It's by taking the piece of the assignment that feels most comfortable to you. If you are that person, then tonight is the night that you stop. We have to understand that this world that we live in is only expanded, is only progressed by those that dream big. And it is your responsibility to put yourself in alignment or put yourself in that class of big dreamers. When I started to accept the fact that the life that I was living was too small, that is when everything started to open up for me. By understanding, you can always tell. Use this as your litmus test, if you will. Use this as your litmus test to determine if you are living too small. If you have time to keep up with everyone else's schedule in addition to your own, then you're living too small. If you have the opportunity and the luxury of keeping up with the world's events in addition to your own events, then you're living too small. If you have the opportunity to do a lot of the things that the world is doing without an interruption to your schedule, then you are living too small. And so, those are just a few of the tests that you can use to determine if you're living too small. When your dream starts to expand, when you start to live a bigger life, you will begin to understand and to witness that your ability to accommodate a lot of outside interest will diminish. Your ability to engage in frivolous conversation is going to diminish. When your dream gets bigger, when your dream begins to expand, you're going to have less time, if you will, to dibble and dabble in a whole lot of other things. And this was so exciting for me when heaven started to allow me to witness the expansion of my vision, the expansion of the assignment, the expansion of the one of the reasons that I was brought here to earth. When I started to take hold of the fullness of the assignment, God began to show me that a lot of the complaints that I previously had, I had them simply because I was personally wasting too much time. You begin to understand that when you start to come into alignment with the truth of who heaven has created you to be, and you start to operate in the capacity that heaven needs you to operate, you begin to understand that heaven is working along with you. And when you are in alignment with the truth of who heaven has created you to be, this actually helps to redeem the time. And you can always tell that the time is being redeemed because you are able to accomplish more in less time. You are able to cover more territory in less time. You're able to make greater and more powerful connections in less time. When you are not operating in the fullest capacity of your dreams and your visions, you're going to find that time is wasted. You're going to find that you're going to say things like, there are never enough hours in the day. I'm always borrowing from Peter to pay Paul. There's always too much month at the end of my money. You're always going to feel a deficit in everything that you do. But when you start to dream bigger in your life, when you start to dream at the fullest capacity, you're going to start to realize that everything else is going to expand. And when you begin to experience this expansion, you're not going to be able, in good conscience, to go back to who you used to be. You're not going to be able to go back and dream or limit your potential anymore. And it's going to permeate every area of your life. And what I mean by that is that when you are operating in the fullest capacity of who heaven has created you to be, you're going to realize that excellence and doing things well is going to be one of your hallmarks. It's going to become more of an obligation than a forced effort. Like you're obligated to do your best in everything, no matter what it is, simply because you know that by not doing your best and not giving things your best effort, that you are going to squander the opportunity that you have to spend more time with the blessing. And this was very telling to me as it relates to my day gig. Now, in the world, this was so interesting because the world will teach you that a lot of times you need to let go of your day gig. You need to let go of all of your worldly responsibilities and just focus on that assignment. But when you learn to operate in heaven's economy, one of the rules that you have to understand is that heaven is not going to allow you to destroy someone else's dream so that you can have yours. Heaven works harmoniously with everything and everyone. And this was so true as it related to my day gig. Changing my perspective about everything that I'm doing, about everything that is in my sphere of influence, began to help me to understand that instead of me trying to get rid of the things that the world was telling me to get rid of, God was like, embrace them. And by embracing those things, it began to deepen my opportunity to see more of the miracles that heaven has in store as it relates to the blessing. So, a lot of times people will look at their jobs as a burden. But now, because of new eyes, God has allowed me to look at my job. My job is actually like a silent investor. My job is actually educating me as it relates to a lot of the things that I'm going to need as it relates to building this part of my assignment. When you look at your day gig as an expansion of your dream, then that expands the dream even more. And one of the things that was so powerful is because God was like, all of these at least on my job, I don't know about the jobs that you have, but you can put it in the chat. But on my job, we have a lot of online learning classes, a lot of classes that outside of a work environment you would have to pay for. A lot of classes that you like they're having on my job like in the next week or so a writing class like a high level writing expert is coming in, and this is for free, air quotes, to everyone in the company. When I began to look at this and the value that this day gig is bringing to my current assignment, it was very humbling that heaven is allowing me, if you will, to get more of an education and learn all of the things that I need to know as it relates to building this portion of my dream. And this helped me to start to understand that, wait a minute, I can learn more. I can do more. I can grow more. I don't have to. And this is the thing that we have to understand, that business building and bringing your dreams to fruition is not linear. A lot of times we think we go from point A to point B to point C to point D, and everything is really nice and neat. Healing is not linear. Forgiveness is not linear. Dieting is not linear. Absolutely nothing that you approach that is going to change you is not linear. There's a very convoluted process to it all. And once you begin to understand the power of dreaming, of allowing your dreams to take on a life of their own, that dream is going to take various paths to get to you. That dream is going to take various paths to form. And it is your responsibility to buckle up and get ready for the ride. When you begin to forgive yourself for dreaming too small, and you begin to make peace with the understanding that you were designed for greater, you have to make this acceptance. You have to understand this spiritually, mentally, and physically. A lot of times when people approach their dream building process, they approach it from a physical perspective. And physically, they're going to force themselves to rise up early. And physically, they're going to force themselves to grind, grind, grind. And physically, they're going to force themselves to go out to different networking events and to go out and to do things that put them right in the mix of the world's activity, totally negating the mental and the spiritual aspects of that work. But when you begin to expand your vision, it behooves you greatly to begin spiritually first. A spiritual expansion of your dream is probably one of the most liberating, the most non exhausting, and the most productive ways to expand your assignment. Because this expansion process spiritually is going to afford you the opportunity to do everything outside of the prying eyes of the world. It allows you to do the work in the secret places. And this is where and how so many people miss the opportunity to expand in a very powerful way because they're too fast and too quick to show the world what they're working on. And I have seen this, and I'm sure you've seen it too. I have seen this too many times where literally people will be like, especially in this social media world, this is why you have to be very mindful of how much you share. And people think that they're sharing with other people, but it's not the people that I'm worried about. It's the spirit realm that I'm worried about. And by worry, I mean just cognizant of. You test the spirit by the spirit. So when you are sharing things, you are actually sharing with a different realm of the spirit. Although it looks like you're sharing with people, you're not sharing with people per se. You're sharing with the spirit of that thing. And the spirit realm, I am sure on earth as it is in heaven, for everything in the natural, there's a parallel and corresponding occurrence in the supernatural. Just like here on earth, people have become more sedentary, people have become quicker to want everything, like everything has to be done so fast. The wait time, people get frustrated when they have to wait. The spirit realm is the same way. The spirit realm right now is getting very fat, if you will, off of our lack of creativity, off of our lack of spiritual depth, um, off of our inability to have very powerful discernment, off of our inability to understand the power of the secret places. When you begin to understand that building spiritually first affords you the opportunity to enter into the realm that is closest to heaven, it is so powerful to understand where your dream resides. It is so powerful to be able to visit the space where your dream resides uninhibited. And when you allow yourself this opportunity, you are literally giving your dream a fighting chance. But when you enter into expanding your assignment and your vision from a physical perspective first, then you are forcing yourself, if you will, to have to fight with everything that is already here in existence in the physical plane. And this is why the world teaches you, you got to watch out for your haters. You got to pay attention to your competition. You got to do all of these things first. And if you are just starting out to accept the expansion of your dream, that's a whole lot to fight. That's a whole lot to battle. That's a whole lot to contend with when your dream is so fragile. When heaven gives you the pieces in the secret places, heaven is going to give you all of the internal things that you need to do first in order to get your house in order, your spiritual house, your mental house, and your physical house before it is presented to the world. Because God will do the work in the secret places, and then heaven will release you publicly when the time is right. The reason that most assignments fail or people don't get to the place of completion is because it is released to the world too quickly and it is devoured by the world. When heaven allows you to expand your vision in the secret places, then by the time that heaven gives you the opportunity to present it to the world, this is what the world sees. But then heaven is working on the next level of introduction. And this was so powerful when I was working. One of my girlfriends is actually my IP attorney. And one of the things that I wanted to jump into initially was because this is what The world teaches you, like, you need to protect your intellectual property. You need to make sure that everything is taken care of. And one of the wisest pieces of advice I was given is that you need to let the vision grow. You need to begin to understand if this is the solidified version of the vision or if this is just your starting point. Had I gone with the world's prompting of doing all of this stuff first, then I would have lost a whole lot of money because over the course of time, so many things have changed. To be honest with yourself is one of the best things that you can be. In the beginning, the dream that heaven gives you, or the portion of the dream that heaven releases to you, is not going to be the fullness of the assignment because heaven is not going to allow you to ruin that thing. This is why the Bible teaches us to despise not the small beginnings. Most people get upset when they don't knock it out of the park the first time. And that is because physically they are expecting too much of the vision from the beginning. I'm excited when I don't knock it out of the park the first time because that means that there is so much more to come. If you did everything the first time with a big bang, then where would you learn the steps involved in the process? Where would you get the information that is needed to build upon the assignment? How would you be able to move through the process of helping other people to get through their process if you rush through yours? This is why I am so grateful for the work that we do in this community because God has allowed me to go over this process a multitude of times. And this is why when you understand the power of the process, you can take it slow. I'm not rushing through anything because I understand the steps that it takes in order to even get to a small portion of the work that I do. For people that run up and say, hey, aren't you concerned about competition? Aren't you concerned about this? Somebody can steal your ideas, somebody can do. If anyone is doing the work right, spiritually, mentally, and physically, don't let the smooth taste fool you. Because if you are doing things in the way that heaven is requiring you to do things, then you're going to realize that there are levels and there are layers. So where someone may want to take something that I'm doing, they don't understand all of the internal ramifications that are involved in it. Because I'm under no obligation to share that. Because heaven has chosen what part of this should be revealed to the world and what part should remain sacred. When you allow yourself to dream bigger, then heaven is going to allow you to carve out a portion of that dream that is available to the world for the world's consumption. The world is going to have enough of it to do what it needs to do with it, and heaven is going to reserve a mental portion for you to continue to grow mentally, intellectually, and to continue to develop. And then heaven also reserves a portion of that for your spiritual consumption only. That spiritual piece is the piece that most people overlook or that most people run from. It's because that spiritual maturation process is the one that requires the most from you. Now, you can shortchange yourself as it relates to the physical part because you can fake it, as the world says, until you make it. But you cannot fake it mentally. and you cannot fake it spiritually. And so I challenge you tonight as you are moving through this assignment to allow heaven to speak to you as it relates to how big your vision can really be. How big can your vision be spiritually? How big can your vision be mentally? And how big can your vision be physically? And the beautiful part of it is that when you allow heaven to have equal access in all three realms, you're going to realize that the physical manifestation actually pales in comparison to what heaven wants to do spiritually and mentally. So have fun with this. Have fun with forgiving yourself for dreaming too small. Forgive yourself. Lord, I would love at this point to plead insanity because I did not know what was available to me. I did not understand the spiritual ramifications of what I needed to do in order to bring this physical manifestation into existence. Mentally, Lord, help me to learn how to bridge the gap. See, our mind is the bridge between the spirit realm and the physical realm. This is why the Bible teaches us that we consistently have to renew our minds daily. And I would say you renew your mind hourly. You renew your mind every time a new concept crosses your path so that you can constantly, continually make that connection and continue to bridge the gap between heaven and earth. You're only going to be able to dream to the capacity that your mind is willing to expand. So tonight in your prayer time, ask heaven, ask God to expand your thinking well beyond anything that you have ever imagined. Begin to allow heaven to take full reign of your mental capacity so that you can begin to see things from a higher perspective spiritually and experience things from a physical perspective in ways that you never imagined. Other people shouldn't be the ones having all the fun. Other people shouldn't be the ones experiencing all of the growth and the manifestation of dreams. You deserve it. I deserve it. We all deserve it. But a lot of times, the reason that we are restricted is because there's something instinctively within us that knows that we don't want to necessarily acquire things in the way that the world shows us because it just don't feel right. I don't want to expand knowing that someone else has suffered because of my growth. And this is why a lot of people shy away from prosperity and people shy away from abundance because so many people make it look so bad. But when you allow heaven into the process and you are acquiring abundance from a God made progression, and we'll go through that later in one of our talks here, you understand that heaven only brings good. And it can truly be a win win for everyone involved. So tonight, release yourself from any inhibitions that you have about acquiring things the world's way and allow God to have full reign to bring abundance to you in a very decent and loving way in spirit and in truth. And I promise you that this level of prosperity beats anything that the world has to offer. All right, everybody. So we are at 8:35, it looks like. So I want to thank you so much for joining me tonight. And once again, for those of you who are new here, then please like and subscribe and follow us so that you can get all of the wonderful notifications. Now that I'm kind of in the groove of this YouTube thing, I'm probably going to hang out here a little bit, like a long time. Like, this is kind of fun to me. I like seeing my friends pop up here, and I like seeing the comments, and I like knowing that people are benefiting from the tools that are being delivered here. So don't just take notes and just listen. Like, tomorrow, literally tomorrow, start using these things. Start incorporating these tools. Start doing the things that we've talked about. And if you haven't listened to all of the recordings so far, go back and listen to them. Take notes and put them in your toolbox and use these things every day. And I promise you that incrementally, you're going to start to see and feel and sense and witness the changes. And once you start to enter into this new level of living and understanding, you can't go back. You can't go back because the old life just isn't going to fit anymore. And you know too much about the new life to just stop without seeing what the end is going to be. So now that our paths have crossed, you're in it. You're in it. So tag, you are it. So the fact that our paths have crossed and you have gotten like just this little bit of information, it's a game changer. So I'll see you again, I'm sure. And please keep me posted on how well the little tools that you have received so far are working. And I look forward to spending so much more time with you. So I love you all. Sweet dreams. And I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one.